Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into the shocking transformations of 15 beautiful black actresses who became almost unrecognizable, and the proof may leave you stunned. These women once captivated the world. Their beauty made headlines, their presence commanded rooms, and Hollywood treated them like royalty. But in an industry where beauty is a weapon, the moment your body changes, so does everything else. What happens when the weight comes on? When the pressure becomes too heavy? When the same public that once adored you starts whispering, criticizing, and tearing you apart? Hollywood is ruthless. It worships perfection but abandons anyone who dares to look human. These actresses once set the standard. They amazed us, inspired us, and defined an era. But when they gained weight, the world turned its back, reducing them from icons to targets of mockery and harsh judgment. Stay with us until the end. Some of these transformations will leave you absolutely speechless. Obese Sidibe's story is not just about weight gain, it's about a woman fighting a war no camera ever captured. Once celebrated for her unforgettable performance in Precious, Gabby stunned Hollywood with raw talent and emotional depth. But behind the applause and the red carpets, she was quietly losing a battle with herself. Her weight didn't rise overnight. It was a slow, painful descent into depression, emotional eating, and a cycle she felt powerless to escape. From 220 pounds, she spiraled to nearly 330 pounds, a number that didn't just shock Hollywood, it crushed her spirit. Since her teenage years, food had been her comfort, her escape, her shield. Whenever loneliness hit or stress closed in, she didn't look for someone to talk to, she reached for food. Not because she was hungry, but because the pain inside was louder than any craving. A meal could mean a whole pizza, 2 orders of fried chicken, mountains of fries, and thick shakes drowning in whipped cream. The relief lasted minutes. The shame lasted hours. When she hit 330 pounds, Hollywood was merciless. At a red carpet event in 2013, she felt the stares burning into her skin. Whispers followed her every step. Then came the moment that broke her. As she tried to sit, the chair beneath her buckled. It didn't break, but the cameras caught everything. Within hours, the clip went viral. Millions watched. Thousands mocked her. And Gabby felt herself shrinking inside a body that only seemed to grow. On set, the struggle became physical. Climbing a single flight of stairs left her gasping, her knees screaming in pain. Halfway up, she clung to the railing, trembling, drenched in sweat. A crew member rushed over, worry in their eyes. But Gabby didn't see concern, she saw pity. And that hurt more than any comment. One day, staring into the mirror, she didn't recognize the woman looking back. Is this who I've become? A prisoner in my own body. That's when everything changed. Gabby chose to fight. Slowly, painfully, she began taking her life back. Losing weight, rebuilding her health, reclaiming her confidence inch by inch. She may never fit Hollywood's definition of thin, but she moves with a strength she didn't have during her darkest days. Her journey isn't about perfection. It's about survival. And she survived. Monique, the weight of a secret addiction. Monique was once a powerhouse of comedy and charisma, a woman whose confidence lit up any room she walked into. On stage, she owned the spotlight. Off stage, she hit a battle no one in Hollywood ever saw coming. When her career hit a series of painful setbacks, Monique didn't turn to alcohol, drugs, or scandal. She turned to something far quieter and far deadlier. Food became her escape, her comfort, her shield. What started as stress eating slowly spiraled into an obsession that added almost 100 pounds to her frame. The downfall began at a tiny, worn-down diner near the studio lot, the kind of place with peeling paint, buzzing fluorescent lights, and a fryer so old the oil looked black as midnight. The burgers were oversized, dripping with mayo, cheese, charred bacon, and regret. It wasn't gourmet. It wasn't healthy. But it was cheap. And when a producer delayed her paycheck, cheap was all she could afford. One visit turned into 2. 2 turned into 3. Soon, Monique didn't even have to order. The staff knew her routine by heart: extra cheese, extra sauce, double meat. At first, she shrugged it off. She still felt like herself. But slowly, the truth caught up with her. Her favorite dress clung too tight. The scale crept from 200 pounds to 220 to 250. Her knees throbbed when she walked. Sitting hurt. Standing hurt. Her body was failing her, and Hollywood was watching. The final blow came at an audition. Monique entered the room with her usual spark, but the producer made his decision in 3 cold seconds. Not a word about her talent. Not a chance to prove herself. Just a dismissive nod. Thanks for coming. Hollywood didn't see the legend anymore. They only saw the weight. Every morning she promised herself she'd quit. But by afternoon, the cravings roared back like a storm she couldn't outrun. And so she returned to that same diner, parked her car in the same spot, and ordered the same greasy comfort that was slowly destroying her. She sat behind the wheel, devouring burger after burger, sauce dripping down her fingers, grease staining her lips. After the 4th burger, she caught her own reflection in the rearview mirror, swollen face, exhausted eyes, hands slick with grease. In that moment, she didn't see Monique, the star. She saw a woman losing herself one bite at a time. And right then she knew she had finally hit her breaking point. Oprah Winfrey. The 107-pound tragedy and the darkest days of her life. On television, Oprah Winfrey was untouchable, the queen of daytime TV, the woman whose voice shaped a generation. From a childhood marked by trauma and poverty, she rose to build an empire. But behind the bright studio lights and global praise, her reality was much heavier than the world ever knew. In the early 90s, the pressure on Oprah was relentless. Every day was a battlefield. Endless meetings, back-to-back interviews, production chaos, and millions of viewers clinging to her every word. She carried a network on her shoulders, but she stopped carrying herself. There was no time to breathe, let alone eat properly. So she leaned on the only comfort she could grab: food. What began as a quick burger between segments spiraled into something darker. 2 burgers. Then 3. On her worst days, Oprah could demolish 3 fried chicken dinners, jumbo fries, pastries, and a giant soda, all in one sitting. She wasn't eating out of hunger. She was eating to survive the pressure, to silence loneliness, to numb exhaustion, to beat back the sting of criticism. For a few minutes, every bite felt like relief. But when the food was gone, regret hit her harder than the hunger ever did. Her body grew heavier. Her spirit dimmed. She tried to fight back. Workouts, diets, anything that promised change. But the scale refused to move. She was breathless in minutes, her knees aching, her chest tight. What she didn't know yet was that her thyroid had turned her weight loss journey into an unwinnable war. And while she battled in private, the world mocked her in public. Every TV appearance sparked whispers. Every magazine cover zoomed in on her body. And then came the most painful blow. In 1994, a popular comedy show aired a skit making fun of Oprah. An actress, over 300 pounds, dressed like her, staggering on stage, gasping for air, shoving fistfuls of cake into her mouth. The audience roared with laughter. Oprah didn't. She sat there, watching herself turned into a punchline. A woman who had clawed her way out of poverty, broken barriers, and inspired millions, reduced to a joke about her weight. That night she hit rock bottom. She realized her work had consumed her body had betrayed her, and the world would never stop judging her unless she changed something from within. And so she did. Oprah took back control, slowly, painfully, day by day. She rebuilt her habits, healed her relationship with food, corrected her health, and reclaimed her body. Her comeback wasn't just physical, it was spiritual. A triumph of discipline, self-worth, and unshakable resilience. She didn't just lose the weight. She found herself again. Raven-Symoné, the Disney darling who fell into a 187-pound nightmare. 4 years, Raven was the heartbeat of That's So Raven, one of Disney Channel's biggest hits ever. She didn't just act, she sang, she inspired, she became the girl every teenager looked up to. But behind that sparkle was a silent prison. Disney demanded perfect energy, perfect behavior, and above all, a perfect body. Every cookie, every snack, every extra pound, monitored, critiqued, controlled. She lived under that pressure until she cracked. In 2007, when Raven finally walked away from Disney, she thought she was stepping into freedom. Instead, she stepped into a void. No set schedules, no bright lights, no constant expectations. And without that structure, she didn't know who she was anymore. Loneliness crept in. Silence became heavy. And to fill that emptiness, she reached for the one comfort that never judged her: food. First it was harmless. A milkshake before bed, fries during a movie. But soon, one cookie became the whole box. One meal turned into 3. Midnight snacks turned into uncontrollable binges. Her weight climbed fast, and the day she stepped on the scale and saw 187 pounds staring back at her, she froze. She couldn't recognize the girl she had become. Hollywood didn't give her grace. When Raven returned to a red carpet looking fuller than before, the cameras didn't blink, they attacked. Photos went viral. Headlines mocked her. Social media turned cruel. The girl millions once adored had suddenly become the internet's punchline. She ate to escape the pressure, but now the world refused to let her hide. Queen Latifah. 220 pounds of pressure, and a media storm waiting to explode. Queen Latifah isn't just a rapper or an actress, she's royalty. A pioneer. A black woman who carved out her throne in an industry designed to break you before it crowns you. But behind the fame, behind the awards and red carpets, her life was a non-stop sprint. Sleepless nights. Back-to-back shoots. Eating whatever she could grab while running from one set to another. And little by little, the chaos caught up. The day she stepped on the scale and saw 220 pounds, it didn't feel like a number. It felt like an alarm. A message her body had been trying to send for years. You're losing yourself. How could she fight it? Her calendar was packed to the minute. Studio sessions, interviews, film shoots, appearances. No time to breathe, let alone cook or hit the gym. Breakfast was something she inhaled in the car. Lunch was fries and fried chicken between takes. Dinner was cold pizza at 2 a.m. Her body wasn't her own anymore. Hollywood had claimed it. Then came the moment that broke her. Paparazzi caught her leaving a restaurant one night. She wore a tight dress, her face tired, her eyes dull from exhaustion. By morning, the photos were everywhere. Queen Latifah, royalty or a burden? A disgusting headline that cut deeper than anyone knew. Trolls piled on. Talk shows turned her body into a punchline. Memes mocked her like she wasn't a human being fighting through the hardest season of her life. And nobody asked why. They didn't see the woman who worked herself past empty. They didn't see the burnout, the pressure, or the pain. They just saw weight and assumed she'd given up. She stayed silent. But every cruel comment pushed her toward food for comfort. Cake, milkshakes, fried chicken, anything to numb the sting. But the more she ate, the further she slipped. Until one night, she stepped on stage. After just one song, her breath faltered. Her knees ached. Her throat burned. The crowd cheered, but she felt the truth settle heavy inside her chest. She wasn't queen anymore. She wasn't even herself. Work had consumed her whole life, and it was about to take her career with it. That was the moment she knew. Stop now, or lose everything. Jill Scott, 200 pounds of heartbreak, silence, and the weight of starting over. Jill wasn't just a voice. She was a force. A soul-shaking, stage-owning, award-winning powerhouse who lit up every room she walked into. But when the applause faded and the spotlight cooled, her private life crumbled fast and painfully. Her 2007 divorce didn't just break her heart, it hollowed out her world. The love she thought would last forever vanished, leaving behind a loneliness so heavy it crushed her spirit. And when the tears stopped coming, Jill found comfort somewhere else. Food. Within months, 145 pounds became 200. By 2008, Jill Scott sat alone in a quiet apartment that felt too big for one woman and too small for her pain. On the table, 2 giant tubs of ice cream, a bag of cookies, a fried chicken dinner, almost gone within an hour. She stared at her reflection afterward. The curves she celebrated? Gone. The confident shape she once flaunted on stage? Faded. In its place was a heaviness she couldn't lift, no matter how much she ate. But when your marriage dies after just 3 years, when the vows, the wedding, the dreams all turn into dust, What do you hold on to? Night after night, she curled up in bed looking for reasons to keep moving. Instead, she found more food. A snack became a habit. A habit became an escape. Soon, it was pizza for breakfast, fried chicken for lunch, and entire cakes swallowed before bedtime, anything to quiet the noise inside. But the mirror never lied. It showed her a woman she barely recognized. Tired, swollen, hurting. And the worst part? Some friends quietly backed away. They didn't want to be seen with an unglamorous, post-divorce, oversized Jill Scott. The same people who cheered her success disappeared when she stopped looking like the star they wanted her to be. That's when Jill realized she hadn't just lost a husband. She had lost the people she thought would love her through anything. In the mirror now wasn't the radiant Jill Scott of 2007, but a wounded woman trying to fill an emotional void with anything she could chew. Lizzo. 240 pounds of defiance or quiet defeat. For years, Lizzo stood as a symbol of radical confidence, a powerhouse of the body positivity movement, a woman who dared to challenge every impossible beauty standard the world tried to force on her. With hits like Truth Hurts, Juice, and Good as Hell, she didn't just rise to fame, she blasted into the stratosphere, becoming one of the most influential voices of her generation. But fame has a cruel way of twisting the knife. Every day, thousands of toxic comments waited for her. Not about her music, not about her talent, just about her body. Too fat to be a pop star. Lose weight before preaching self-love. Why celebrate laziness? One night in 2021, Lizzo sat alone in the studio, the glow of her phone lighting her face. Comment after comment. Mockery. Judgment. They weren't new, but somehow, they still sliced straight through her. Her hands trembled. Not from anger, but from a craving rising out of fear, stress, and exhaustion. She felt like she couldn't breathe. In desperation, she reached for the only thing that brought fast, numbing comfort: food. At first, it felt like rebellion. They call me fat? Fine. I'll show them I don't care. One burger. Then fries. Then dessert. No big deal. But rebellion became routine. Ice cream. Plates of pasta. Each bite felt like a battle cry, like she was screaming back at the world that she wouldn't break. Instead, her body did. The weight climbed rapidly. At her heaviest, the scale pushed past 240 pounds. When she tried rehearsing for a tour, 5 minutes on the treadmill left her gasping, knees shaking, sweat pouring. Her heart thudded like it was begging her to stop. This wasn't empowerment anymore. This was self-destruction disguised as strength. And in the mirror, she barely recognized the woman staring back. The bright, bold Lizzo, the symbol of confidence, had been replaced by someone exhausted, overwhelmed, and hurting. She fought the trolls with everything she had, but in the end, the deepest wounds came from the battle she didn't know she was fighting with herself. Tikaina Arnold. 50 pounds of heartbreak, betrayal, and a silent collapse. Once a shining force in Hollywood, Tina was the woman everyone admired. Confident, electric. Fans loved her fire, and colleagues swore she was unstoppable. But behind the camera lights, her life was unraveling in the dark. In 2004, she stood in front of a mirror and froze. The woman staring back wasn't her. 180 pounds. Heavy, drained, her eyes hollow from nights spent crying instead of sleeping. She barely recognized the face looking back. The breaking point had come quietly, the kind that crushes you without warning. Right after their daughter was born, the man she believed would be her forever walked out. No warning. No message. No goodbye. As her baby learned to stand, Tina was left struggling just to stay upright herself. The pain didn't pass. It settled in her chest and followed her everywhere. Food became her escape, small at first. A cookie before bed, a milkshake to numb the ache, a handful of chips when the silence felt too loud. But the habit grew. Night after night, she ate until she felt nothing at all. Until fullness replaced loneliness, even if only for a moment. But the scale remembered what she tried to forget. Pound by pound, her body carried the weight her heart couldn't bear. Stairs became harder. Clothes stopped fitting. And the mirror became the enemy. Then came the looks on set, pity, whispers, disappointment. Roles disappeared. Calls slowed. Hollywood didn't see the magnetic Tina Arnold anymore. They only saw a woman falling apart. But everything changed the day her daughter finally spoke. One tiny voice, "Mama," cut through months of pain like a lifeline. And Tina realized she had been mourning a man who never deserved her tears, while the one person who truly needed her was watching it all. So she stepped outside. For the first time in months, she breathed. And this time, she wasn't rising for him. She was rising for herself, and for the little girl who still believed her mother was a hero. Tiffany Haddish, 45 pounds of fame, and a heart coming undone. Tiffany Haddish wasn't just funny, she was electricity. A force on stage. A woman who walked into a room and had strangers doubled over, crying with laughter. Her rise was meteoric. After her breakout, every network, every studio, every red carpet wanted her. She was the moment. But the brighter the spotlight burned, the darker her private world became. Fame didn't just demand jokes, it demanded a mask. She had to be up, on, and unstoppable, even on the days she could barely pull herself out of bed. And when the weight of it all pressed too hard, she reached for the only thing that soothed the ache: food. Not hunger. Comfort. By 2021, the cracks finally showed. Tiffany stepped onto a red carpet with her usual confidence, expecting applause. Instead, she faced whispers. Not compliments, judgment. The cameras flashed, but the admiration was gone. And when she woke up the next morning, the internet had exploded with cruelty. She scrolled in silence. Comment after comment. Thousands of strangers ripping her apart, mocking her body, comparing her to her past self. They didn't know her story. They didn't know that behind the jokes was a woman running on fumes and hiding a loneliness she couldn't laugh away. After her big success, Tiffany had poured herself into every party, every appearance, every expectation. And when the doors closed, when the crowds vanished, she was left with an empty silence she couldn't bear. So she filled it. One pastry after midnight. A giant cocktail to celebrate. A whole pizza after a stressful shoot. Just a little, she told herself. But a little became a habit. And the habit became a refuge. Her weight crept to 190 pounds before she even realized it. The day she tried on an old dress and the zipper wouldn't budge, she stood in front of the mirror and felt something inside her crack. It didn't stop there. On set, a simple running scene left her breathless within seconds. Her chest tightened. Her heart hammered. She caught the director's stare. Saw the concern in her co-star's eyes. No one said a word, but the silence said everything. Then came the video. Same Tiffany. Same humor. Same spark. But the comments weren't laughs anymore. They were knives. Cold, sharp, unforgiving. She shut off her phone. For the first time in years, the woman who made millions smile realized she couldn't even smile for herself. She had laughed to bury the pain. She ate to quiet the pressure. But behind closed doors, she was crumbling under the weight of the fame she'd begged for. And the world never saw the tears that came after the punchlines. Octavia Spencer, 44 pounds of sacrifice, and a price she never expected. Octavia Spencer has always been a force on screen, an Oscar winner with a gift for turning emotion into electricity. But behind that brilliance is a woman willing to push herself far beyond the line most actors would never cross. And for her career-defining role in The Help, Octavia made a choice that nearly broke her. She didn't just want to play the character, she wanted to become her. So she committed to a brutal experiment no one asked for. She lived like her character, ate like her character, and tried to feel every ounce of her struggle. It started with something small. No salads. No healthy meals. No workouts. Just cornbread and bacon, every day. At first, it felt harmless, almost fun. She told herself it was method acting, dedication, art. But then it spiraled. Each day she ate more. Triple her normal meals. Cornbread stacked high. Bacon sizzling nonstop. Morning, noon, and night. Soon she woke up feeling heavy, greasy, her breath slow, but she kept going. "It's for the role," she whispered to herself. "I have to do this." 3 months later, she didn't recognize the woman in the mirror. The morning she stepped on the scale, her stomach dropped. 209 pounds. 44 pounds gained, fast. Too fast. Her costumes wouldn't fit. People on set stopped looking impressed and started looking worried. And then the director pulled her aside. His voice was gentle, but the message hit her like a slap. "Octavia, you can't keep doing this." That night, she stared at her reflection, tired eyes, a fuller face, a body that felt heavier with every breath. She realized she wasn't sacrificing for art anymore. She was drowning in it. What began as commitment had turned into self-destruction. But before the damage became permanent, she made a choice: to pull herself back, to heal, to stop letting a role consume who she was. And that decision saved more than her health. It saved her future. Whoopi Goldberg. 60 pounds of forgotten days, and finally, a wake-up call. There was a time when Whoopi Goldberg was untouchable, an Oscar winner, a magnetic actress, a razor-sharp host whose name shimmered across Hollywood. She was bold, brilliant, and absolutely unforgettable. But fame is a short memory. Hollywood moved on, and eventually, so did she. As the years settled in, her body slowed down. And instead of fighting back, she let it happen. No clean eating. No workouts. No self-care. The weight didn't just creep up, it marched in unapologetically. It started with small things. Late-night snacks after long studio tapings. A piece of candy. A chicken patty. A soda. Harmless at first, until it became routine. Days blurred. Meals got bigger. Clothes got tighter. Even her favorite shoes refused to fit. Then came the moment of truth. She stepped on the scale, 220 pounds. She let out a dry, bitter laugh, one even she didn't find funny. And the internet pounced. Side-by-side photos. Cruel comparisons. Comment sections turned into war zones. She read every word, but said nothing. Did nothing. Changed nothing. She just kept slipping further. Until one ordinary morning, she bent down to tie her shoes. And couldn't. Her stomach blocked her view. Her breath quickened. A sharp pain stabbed her chest. Sweat poured. She collapsed into a chair, gasping, shaking, stunned. In the mirror was no trace of the fierce Whoopi the world remembered, only a worn, tired woman unraveling from years of neglect. For the first time in a long time, she felt fear. And in that fear, she found her turning point. She knew she had to change. And she did. Yvette Nicole Brown, 50 pounds of pressure, and a loneliness no one saw coming. On Community, she was the beating heart of the show, warm, funny, and endlessly lovable. But when the camera stopped rolling, the smile slowly faded. Behind the scenes, she was fighting a quiet battle no script ever captured. It began around 2013. The show hit turbulence, production dragged on, and Yvette was stretched to her limit. Long days on set turned into long nights at home, where family responsibilities waited at the door. No breaks. No space to breathe. No time to take care of herself. Meals became whatever she could grab. Pastries, fries, anything fast enough to keep her moving. At first it was convenience. Then it became comfort. Sleepless nights turned into emotional eating, and the stress she never talked about began to pile up on her plate. She didn't even see it happening until she stepped on a scale one morning. 198 pounds. The number hit her like a punch, but what came next hurt even more. The following day on set, she slipped into her usual costume, except this time, the zipper refused to move. The room fell silent. The laughter she used to inspire was replaced with awkward stares and quiet whispers. Co-stars who once joked with her drifted away. Invitations stopped. Conversations dried up. That night, she sat alone in front of her mirror. A rounder face. A heavier body. Eyes that looked exhausted and lost. For the first time, she realized how deeply the pressure had consumed her. Work had drained her. Duty had worn her thin. And in the middle of carrying everyone else, she had stopped carrying herself. She hadn't just gained weight. She had slowly disappeared under the weight of stress, loneliness, and the world's expectations. Mia Amber Davis, 250 pounds of a wild experiment that spun completely out of control. Before everything changed, Mia was a rising star, a plus-size beauty icon with a radiant smile and the kind of confidence that lit up every room she walked into. At 175 pounds, she was stunning, self-assured, and unapologetically herself. She modeled, acted, and inspired curvy women around the world to stop shrinking their bodies just to fit someone else's standard. But in 2009, curiosity pushed her into dangerous territory. That year, Mia agreed to participate in an unusual psychological study about self-perception and how society treats people with obesity. It sounded bold, experimental, maybe even empowering. But the researchers presented one outrageous condition. She had to gain 75 pounds in just 2 months. And Mia, fearless and intrigued, said yes. At first, it felt like freedom. No restrictions. No calorie counting. Just endless food. Her days turned into a cycle of massive, gut-heavy meals. Buttery waffles stacked high, crunchy bacon, fried eggs swimming in grease. Lunchtime meant double jumbo burgers, mountains of fries, syrupy sodas. Afternoons were entire pizzas and chocolate ice cream. Dinner? A giant steak, cheesy mashed potatoes, and before bed, pastries, snacks, and a thick milkshake. Over 10,000 calories every single day. At first, she laughed it off, but her body didn't. She moved slower, breathed harder, felt heavier. Then came the morning everything shifted. She looked in the mirror and didn't recognize herself. Puffy cheeks, swollen eyes, a face that didn't belong to her. The scale became her enemy. When it flashed 220 pounds, panic flooded in. But the weight kept climbing. Every day, her reflection drifted further from the woman she had been. By week 8, she had hit 250 pounds. Her body felt foreign, sluggish, unresponsive, like she was trapped inside someone else. And when the study finally ended, Mia thought she could simply drop the pounds and move on with her life. But reality was crueler than she imagined. Her body didn't bounce back. The weight clung to her. And suddenly, brands started calling again, not to celebrate her beauty or her talent, but to package her as a symbol, a plus-size story, a marketable body. No one cared why she had gained the weight. They just saw an image they could use. Mia stared into the mirror, touching a face that felt like a stranger's. 75 pounds for science, yet no one around her understood the cost. Debrat, 187 pounds of being forgotten and painfully transformed. In the 90s, Debrat wasn't just a rapper. She was the moment. Sharp swagger, fearless delivery, baggy pants, platinum swagger. She owned every stage she walked on. A female hip-hop icon who carved her name into an era that didn't always make space for women like her. But fame has a cruel way of slipping through your fingers. The tours slowed down. The bookings dried up. Fans found new idols. And the woman who once commanded arenas suddenly found herself staring at a quiet phone and an even quieter home. Then came 2023. She stood in front of a mirror, fingertips brushing a belly that didn't feel like hers, soft, unfamiliar, a reminder of everything she used to be. She remembered the days when Debrat meant fire, edge, and unstoppable energy. But now, the music deals were gone. The stages weren't calling. And in the silence, hunger became a comfort, a distraction, a place to hide. It started small. Late-night pasta to calm the disappointment. A little fried chicken to fill the loneliness. Then bigger meals, pizza, fries, heavy plates of steak that numbed the ache for a few moments. Day by day, the weight climbed. And then life threw a twist she never expected, pregnancy. Joy tangled with reality. Her body changed faster than she could accept. From a fierce, lean 132 pounds, she rose to 187, and the real heartbreak wasn't the weight. It was the world's reaction. She posted a photo celebrating her pregnancy, expecting love, warmth, maybe even pride. Instead, a wave of cruel comments crashed in. Words sharp as broken glass cut deep into the places she never let the industry see. People who once cheered her didn't hesitate to mock her. She turned off her phone. But the pain stayed. She rested her hand on her belly, on a body forever changed, carrying both life and loneliness. 187 pounds of transformation, And not one person truly understood what it cost her. She had once been untouchable. Debrat, the unstoppable force. Now she was trapped inside a body the world refused to love, a body she was still trying to make peace with. Precious Lee, 209 pounds, trapped in a painful paradox. For years, Precious was the face of plus-size beauty. At 154 pounds, she had the curves, the charisma, and the confidence that lit up every runway she touched. She wasn't just a model, she was a movement, an icon, a reminder that beauty comes in many forms. But in fashion, the rules change overnight. In 2022, she walked into a major casting call with her head held high. Her steps were strong, her presence undeniable. Yet the room froze. The creative director didn't smile, didn't nod, just stared. We need someone bigger. Not more talented. Not more beautiful. Just bigger. In that moment, Precious didn't lose a job, she lost her place. The industry that once celebrated her suddenly decided she wasn't plus-size enough. A cruel twist that left her standing there, heartbroken, realizing she no longer fit the very mold she once helped shape. And so, to survive, she did the unthinkable. She forced herself to gain weight. Every meal turned into a battlefield. Pasta soaked in butter, ice cream sundaes, sodas, fried chicken, oversized pizzas. Not for pleasure, but for approval. For acceptance. For work. Week after week, the scale climbed. And at 209 pounds, the gates reopened. The contracts returned. The fashion shows called her again. She was back in the spotlight, but the price she paid was brutal. Because this wasn't triumph. This was a race. A weight race. And every pound carried pain, pressure, and pieces of herself she was losing along the way. Her mother watched with fear. Friends drifted away, unsure how to help. Hugs turned into hesitant looks. No one truly understood the storm inside her. And every time Precious looked in the mirror, she didn't see a star. She saw a stranger. A woman shaped not by confidence, but by expectations she could no longer escape. 209 pounds of pressure. 209 pounds of loneliness. 209 pounds of a standard she never agreed to, but had to follow to keep her dream alive. These transformations are shocking. Some embrace them, others fight their way back. But what do you think about the pressures these actresses face? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss the hidden stories behind the world of fame. There are still so many truths the spotlight never shows.